Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome to the Gamertron Show. Ever notice how there's a lot of multiplayer nowadays? I mean, seriously, we have a lot of games. A lot of games that either have a multiplayer feature, mode, or games that focus on multiplayer altogether. It seems there are more and more multiplayer games being released than single player nowadays. Finding a single-player only game has started to become a rarity. I mean, when's the last time you picked up a game that wasn't multiplayer or didn't have multiplayer? Don't misunderstand me at all. I enjoy multiplayer. Granted, I am mostly a single-player person, but through Titanfall and other games, cooperative games I have played with my friends, I now enjoy a good multiplayer as much as a good single-player. However, I'm starting to find that multiplayer has become an obsession. But then again, I think we all know why. World of Warcraft and Call of Duty. The two most popular, most played franchises in the world. One is an MMO, and the other is an FPS first-person shooter. It's such a shame. It really is a shame that so many game developers are trying to follow up in their success. It's hard to find games that are the true vision of the developers, the game they wanted to make because they love video games and this was their vision. So many people feel that they have to alter their vision, their original concept for a game, in favor of what's popular. Granted, you want your product to sell well, and I understand completely. Video game development is a business, just like any other, and you need to make money. I'm sure there's a great deal of us who just want them to make us games for free and then not charge us a cent for playing them. Dirty, filthy pirates! However, the developer needs to make money, and in order for their game to sell well, they do have to make some compromises. I know! It sucks you have to compromise on your creation, your vision, to make money, but that's the name of the game. That's business. You gotta look at what's popular. What's the popular formula? What's working out so far? What's making the most money? Now, there are some people who try to emulate this. They try to emulate this popularity. But turn it on its head. Make it their own. Do something different with it. The way they would want to play that. But borrow aspects and elements in order for it to be recognizable and people to relate to it from what's popular. And therefore, that is why we are seeing so many MMOs and so many FPS multiplayers. This is both a good thing and a bad thing, because we have gotten some awesome multiplayer-only games over the years. We have got some fantastic stuff. Titanfall, Warframe, Mass Effect free multiplayer. And those are just the examples off the top of my head. There are several other great, fantastic multiplayers out there that are worth your time, both free and costing a bit of money. Although I do not play MMOs, I have friends who play MMOs, and they tell me there are a great deal of good MMOs that have spawned off of the popularity of World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Star Wars, The Old Republic, WildStar, Terra, and a lot of games that were originally single-player only have had multiplayer modes added on with them. Tomb Raider, Last of Us, the Transformers Cybertron games, Dead Space, Crysis, and a slew of other games. While it is hit or miss, some people like other multiplayers, others do not. While there are certainly drawbacks to this oversaturation, overuse of multiplayer, we all benefit from it mostly, us gamers. It means more content and more games to play with our friends. Or random strangers to test your skills on if you prefer. As I said before, there's nothing wrong with multiplayer. There's nothing wrong with growing multiplayer, with the evolution of multiplayer, with more multiplayers. What I am saying though is, I would like to see just a few more single-player only games come out. Games that are solely focused on a well-crafted single player. Again, I have no problems with multiplayer. I would just like to see a change, a little more diversity than the typical game shipping with a single player campaign and a multiplayer or multiplayer only. Because before, not too long ago, most games were single player only, and now it's been turned on its head. What was once mostly single player only releases have now become multiplayer only, or multiplayer being a big component of it. I don't want things to go back to the olden days where almost everything was single player and multiplayer was a rarity, or the only form of multiplayer was local co-op. But I would like to see some more well-crafted, single-player only, single-player focused games come out. Again, tell me, let me know in the comments, when's the last time you played a single-player only game that had no multiplayer component? Personally, for me, the last game I purchased that was single-player only was Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. And that was a PC port of a console game, released at the beginning of 2014. Granted, I know some single-player only games have come out, I have yet to purchase them, such as the sequel to Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, and the recently released new IP, new fantasy RPG, Bound by Flame. I look forward to purchasing both those games in the near future. But look at the majority of games being released in 2014 that are multiplayer focused or have a multiplayer mode. Titanfall, Watch Dogs, Dark Souls 2, Destiny, Evolve, and of course, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Look at all these releases that are multiplayer focused or have a multiplayer option. While again, there's nothing wrong with that, it seems like a lot of developers and a lot of publishers are playing follow the leader. Actually, it's been like that for a while. Actually, ever since the beginning of video games. When the Mario and Sonic games first came out, all the developers at that time made 2D platformers that focused on jumping on enemies, jumping on platforms, just moving to the right side of the screen, discovering more of the level. It was like that for years till Wolfenstein 3D and Doom came along, and then first-person shooters started getting popular. And then more and more 2D/3D first-person shooters started coming out. And then the StarCraft games come out, and Civilization and strategy games started getting popular. And then developers started making more strategy games. Then Halo came out. Halo Combat Evolved, and then first-person shooters got really popular. Anyone notice a trend here? And right now, what's really popular is multiplayer. And multiplayer is popular because millions play Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. Now don't misunderstand me. I know for a fact that there are a bunch of single-player only games that come out. There are budget developers, budget games, indie developers, and indie games, and a lot of them focus solely on single-player, which is great, and that's why we get incredible single-player indie games like Limbo, Primordia, and a slew of other games whose names I can't think of. So if there's a single-player itch you need scratching, you'll sure enough find it out there. However, the point I've been trying to make throughout this entire video is not solely that multiplayer has become popular, maybe a little too popular, and is appearing regularly throughout gaming, throughout new releases. All of which is true, and all of which is because developers and publishers are making this into a popularity contest, a game of follow the leader. Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Minecraft are the most popular franchises currently, all three of which are multiplayer focused. It would be nice if developers and publishers started to realize, to understand that a game trying to follow up, emulate, copy the success of one game doesn't mean their game will succeed. What makes a game succeed? What makes it money? What makes it popular? What will make it a profitable product is simple. Make a good game. Don't try to follow up, copy-paste, emulate from other games. Make your own game. Make a good game. And therefore, you will make money. This has been the Gamertron. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, it helps. Please leave me your thoughts on the subject in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And subscribe to support me and see more of my videos. Later.